Hello Naps, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jocelyn and I'm excited to have you here today. Today we are going to be talking about Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. Woo! This will be a 9-part series as there are 9 different intelligences that Howard Gardner theorized. So we'll go through a brief introduction, do some fun makeup with it because it's always good to learn in multiple ways, as we'll talk about today. So, let's get started. First things first, when it comes to makeup, it's always good to prime your skin. So let's get our basics in. When it comes to the theory of multiple intelligences, Howard Gardner was really fighting against the idea of the big G. Not that big G. I'm talking about general intelligence. The idea that people are inherently smart or inherently not smart. Love a good primer. Oh, by the way, this primer is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer in Matte Matte. Time to break out. Where is my foundation? There we go. The one thing I didn't prep ahead of time. The theory of multiple intelligences is really popular in educational psychology classes. It is all about how people learn, how people reason, how people work with their environment. And in educational theory, that's a really big topic because everyone wants to know how to maximize learning. How do we get students to learn better? How do we get them to retain knowledge better? And how do we get them to be able to use that knowledge later? Which is actually, it's the different levels to show how much knowledge you've retained. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about how people absorb knowledge, how people take in knowledge. The theory of multiple intelligences has kind of a dueling story to it. Howard Gardner said that it was basically what intelligence you had from the start. It didn't really grow or change as you got older. You more or less had a natural affinity for the specific types of intelligence. And the counter theory to that is that you can use these different intelligences and you can get better at them over time through practice and such. And it might just be you lean towards this way right now. So throughout this video, if you could go ahead and let me know, has your ability to learn changed in different aspects over your life, or have you always kind of been an X type of learner? By the way, foundation was Tarte Double Duty Face Tape Foundation in shade Light Sand. Go ahead and put some under eye Cakeless concealer by Benefit from their Boi-ing collection. I'm gonna blend that in, then I'm gonna go in with some setting powder over top. So there's 9 different intelligences, and it takes a minute to talk about each of them because, there's 9 of them, and they all have so many different elements within them. I'm gonna try and make the makeup make sense with the video. We'll see how it works. Go ahead, get out your setting powder. I'm gonna be using Boi-ing by Benefit, their under eye setting powder in translucent light medium. So, the 9 different types of intelligence include linguistic, mathematical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic, musical, and existential. Woo! All of those right there. We're going to break each of those down throughout this series. Today we're specifically talking about spatial intelligence. What does it mean? What kind of people have it? What kind of jobs use spatial intelligence? How that might affect you? That's one of my main ways that I learn. I have pretty strong spatial intelligence, so it's more easy for me to identify with, I suppose. Also gonna get out my Nars Leguna bronzing powder, just for a little light contour. Spatial intelligence is known also as picture smart, image smart. That doesn't really describe super well what it is, because it's not just like looking at an image, being like, oh, that's a red balloon. It's more like being able to look at the image, then look at something else, and being able to say, okay, that red balloon would go well here in this space. Or how big would a red balloon be compared to that person? And being able to kind of picture that size in comparison. So you're taking the image and you're being able to translate it into the world around you. The scientific definition for it, or not scientific, the simply psychological definition for it, recognizing and manipulating patterns of wide space or confined areas as well. So people who might be really good at this would be people who are sculptors or surgeons. You know, you either have to be able to take something, see what the image is and then make it that, or see what's wrong with the image and figure out a path to fix that. Another good one is interior designers, being able to see the possibility in a space without there being three-dimensional objects in that space to already manipulate. By the way, for blush, I'm going to be using the Jouer Rose Gold palette, and I'm going to be using Marigold today, which is the slightly darker shade. How exciting. Boop, boop, boop. Ah! For the simply psychological definition, while it is very helpful to give you a general understanding, it can also be nice to know a little bit more specifics. Also, I'm going to be using my Aurora Lights BH Cosmetics palette as my highlight, like I have many times before. I'm going to use Kaleidoscope. Oh, yep. I saw this really cool image on Pinterest, right there, that was very inspiring. I'm going to try and do a similar look. I'm going to sketch out my base shape because it's all about shapes and space today. I'm going to try and go for like a parallelogram over my eye a little bit. And I'm just using a Mary Kay brown eyeliner to lightly sketch that shape so that I know what I'm doing with the rest of it. I'm only going to do that on one eye. It probably should have been this eye since my hair basically hides that eye. I'm going to do a little bit of brow stuff now that I have that base outline there. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in shade Ebony. Base brow is kind of in a little bit. So I'm also going to be dipping in to the Beverly Hills Eyebrow Mascara, also in shade Ebony, just to keep my hairs in place so they don't move and mess things up. Next, I might as well do some light eye primer. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. Just gonna really be careful with it. This stuff goes far. Oh, a fun thing that people don't think about when they think of spatial awareness is also facial recognition. People who have pretty good spatial awareness tend to have pretty good facial recognition and scenic recognition. So something that I've heard a lot, and I know that I have said a lot, is I don't necessarily know how to get somewhere, but I know when I'm on the right path or the path that I've taken before because I can recognize it by landmarks. Not necessarily by road names or directions or the second right. You would have to say like the second right after that convenience store. Then I would understand what you were talking about. And that is part of spatial recognition, being able to see something and recognize whether you've been there before or not, or if something is familiar, or if a person is familiar. Like that, I know I've seen your face. Where have I seen your face? But I don't remember your name. I just remember your face. I'm gonna use the Morphe by James Charles Artistry palette, the big boy, and I'm going to go in with a brownishy, pinkish, smoky eye, slightly neutral tone. So I'm gonna go in with, I think, this shade here. By the way, all the names of the colors and the names of the items I use will be linked down in the description below. Go ahead, drop down if you want to check it out and follow along. I'm using this shade here for my crease, and we'll see what other shades I use. Nice, like peachy, pinky, rosy, neutral thing. Slew of adjectives here. And I said crease, and then now I'm just covering my whole eye. Yep. Now, if you have spatial awareness, there are certain things that are going to be a little bit trickier to deal with. And keep in mind that all of the types of intelligences overlap in some way, shape, or form. So it's not that you only have spatial recognition. It might be that your spatial recognition is just particularly strong. And that also means that things that do not involve some aspect of spatial recognition may be more difficult. So for me, something that was particularly tricky was like abstract math concepts. If I couldn't figure out how to place it in the real world, if I felt like it was too abstract and didn't make sense for how I just went about my day, then it didn't really click. I'm going to take that under eye. Next, I'm going to dip into this pretty shade right here for the lid. Really easy to do the basic eye stuff once you get your hands on what your basic eye look is. Why am I using the same brush? I have more brushes. And then, using a different brush this time, I'm gonna go into this lighter shade here for inner corner and pop it on my brow bone. Oh, not that shade. Pop it on my brow bone for a little bit of highlight. I'm gonna darken up that crease a little bit as well. I'm gonna make sure I smoke it out. Probably should do that with a clean brush. Yeah, that's clean. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Deep End, and I'm going to fill out that lovely parallelogram. Rhombus might have to do with equal sides. Oh, math. Fill out my shape with my eyeliner. Another fun element for those who have spatial intelligence is that it is not limited to those who have vision. One might think, oh, but you have to know what your environment looks like. What? It's not limited to those who have vision, though. In fact, people with visual impairment are reported as having very good spatial intelligence because they take a different sensation, either description or it could be touch, and are able to then transform it into an idea in their head of what something looks like or is like. Oh gosh, hooded eyes. You guys see that, right? I'm not sure what to do with that. Okay, I'm gonna use my Wet n Wild Color Icon eyeliner in Baby Scott Black, and I'm gonna do just a little eyeliner. A good example of somebody who has a visual impairment that has a very good sense of spatial recognition that you might know of is Molly Burke. She has a YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check her out. She also is really good about navigating space, memorizing where things are, but she also does a lot with fashion and makeup and has a very good ability to translate descriptions that people give her or textures that she can feel into images of what a put together outfit will look like or into what a room looks like. And she has a very cohesive design element, which is something that even though I have good spatial recognition, my design tendencies, my preferred thing is a bit more eclectic. Great. Love this. I just wanted it to be smoky. That's why I'm using a pencil. I'm going to take a stiff brush here and I'm going to kind of smoke out that liner a little bit so it's not quite as awkward looking as it is right now. I am then going to take my smoked out eyeliner and right underneath that I am going to add a little bit of One Size from Patrick Starr's collection with Sephora, his pen eyeliner. I want to clean up this a little bit because it got a bit messy. I probably should not use the concealer. Just because the concealer's lighter than what I normally am. There we go, gotta seal that. And I'm going to hopefully give a nice little double line flick with the blue on this eye for balance. I guess it's doing that because I kind of like it and I don't want to fix it. Yeah. I also don't want to mess it up more, so I'm going to use a pointy brush and then just try and fill that little line in that I missed. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my NYX glitter primer and I'm going to go over that nice blue line that I just made. You will see why. Keep in mind it's glitter primer, so you know it's going to be fun. And I'm going to take Hell Bites Beauty's Loose Flaky Glitter in this pretty green shade. It's almost like a duochrome between green, blue, and gold, or a multi-chrome, I guess. It's very green in there. You can see how gold it gets on the lid. And I'm going to do my best to get it from there onto here. I might want to use a tinier brush for this. Every time I breathe, it's like it puffs up glitter. Oh, that's really fun. You see that shine there? The other thing that I blame a lot on my spatial awareness is I'm pretty good at jerry-rigging. For those of you who might not know, jerry-rigging is when you have an issue and you take something that's not exactly designed to fix the issue, but you can turn it into something that works for the purpose, temporarily or permanently in some cases. And then I'm gonna try and, oh, Biscuit, get this over here too. By the way, for those of you who are new, I am not a professional with this or with anything that I am talking about. So I do a lot of internet research and I find these topics super fascinating, along with the makeup super fascinating. So if you want to learn more, you can be like a little internet gremlin too and do some good research. Ask some people who know what they're talking about. And always double check your sources, because not everything you read is true. I think I'm done with the glitter now. That actually worked out pretty well. Okay, I'm gonna use a fluffy clean brush to hopefully dust off the loose parts that aren't attached. We'll see if it works. It's not doing too bad. Next thing, gotta get my lashes. I'm gonna use my Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. And I wanna add that little point to my eyes because I forgot to do that earlier. I think it makes me look sophisticated. Next, a good lip, and then I will pop on some falsies, and then I think we'll be done for the day. So, I'm going to be using NYX Liquid Suede Cream Lipstick, and this is going to be in Club Hopper, which is like a pretty brownish, reddish shade, like a maroon. While I let that kind of set for a second, let's pop on these bad boys. These are Hellbite's Beauty Bewitched. And oh my gosh, these are going to be crazy, but I think they'll work out really well. And I'm going to be using Ben Nye prosthetic adhesive to get these on because, you know, that's how I do. Maybe. Sometimes. If I can get this cap open. Ooh, holy moly, these are huge. Okay, and then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take Diamond Juice from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, the gloss. I'm gonna pop that on over top and then I think we should be done. All right, so here is the final look. What do you guys think of spatial intelligence? Do you have it? Do you think you might have a different one? Do you think, whew, that's the area that I suck at? There are a few of these in this series that I definitely fit into that category on. So go ahead, stay tuned. I will make a playlist so you can watch all of them. Hit that like button. Give me a comment telling me what your intelligence type is. Don't forget to subscribe and ding the notification bell if this topic interests you and you want to see more videos or see what makeup I do. I look forward to having you guys back here next time. And yeah, have a nice day, Naps. Bye.